Hello. And today we'll be playing Violet Memoir, and we'll continue with Oscar. It's not too surprising to see a message from Lucas this morning, but I am a little sad to see for Lily. I guess with everything that's happened, we made her worry. Lucas's message is just a simple checkup, making sure I was doing okay, though he did accidentally let it slip that he sent a message to Oscar too. I can only imagine what his reaction to it all was. He's probably got a massive smile on his face, and I can't wait to tease Lucas it later. I'll probably have front row seats to it. The other message from Lily is much more intriguing. Hey Lucas, messaged me yesterday telling me everything. I hope you're doing okay. Lucas thought maybe we could get together for lunch to see how things are going. You should let him know. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. Lucas mentioned he was going to try and get everything together today. Now that I think about it, this is the first time Lucas has tried contacting us all, isn't it? It's hard for us. It's hard for that to not bring a smile to my face despite all the circumstances around it. I know it's mostly because he's worried, but I like to imagine it's also because he's warming up to us. We're opening my message to Lucas. His message takes a whole different meaning now that I take that into account. Good morning. I hope you had a good rest. You didn't look good yesterday. I'll figure out some way to cheer you up, I promise. This must have been the way he was alluding to. That's really nice. I hate to just hide away in my room today, locked in my head, just thinking over what went wrong yesterday. I messaged him back hoping that I'm not interrupting a nap of some kind, but both him and Lily messaged me around 7, so I assumed they're both still up. Hey, I just saw your message. I'm doing better, but I am a little worried about Oscar. Yesterday really hit him. Were you able to get everyone together? I thought I have to wait long for a reply, but it's barely a minute before my phone rings again. I've barely been able to find some new pants, let alone anything else. I've already talked to Lee and Lily. They both said yes, but I haven't messaged Oscar yet. I wasn't sure if it was a good idea to bother him. What do you think? That makes sense. Whatever Oscar went through last night, it was pretty intense. I doubt he'd have refused, but I can see why Lucas is worried. Allison, I've been meaning to call him anyway. Just let me know the details. This time I'm able to dance around my room, get my pants on before Lucas gets back to me, but I'm caught in the middle of putting on a shirt. Lily suggested meeting up for lunch, so I thought we should meet around midday. I thought we could go to a bar also likes. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but maybe it would make him more comfortable. I think he'd appreciate that a lot. I know you're worried about him, but even if I asked him, I still think he'd like to hear from you. I suppose. I'll think about it. And that was it. I consider continuing our small talk, but I know if I do that, I'm just going to procrastinate messaging Oscar. I need to deal with that, or else it's going to be lunch before I know it. But I don't want to message him yet, at least not directly. I have someone else I want to message first, though I wouldn't be surprised if Oscar reads them as well. I scroll through my contacts till I find a familiar name that I owe a lot to. Please don't be sleeping. I almost accidentally almost accidentally called, accidentally called a number before remembering that he wouldn't be able to talk back, probably. He did talk to me on the phone last night, but it sounded like a struggle. It was nice to hear his voice, but I wouldn't want to try and force that again. But for now, I'll have to settle for just texting him. Hey, Selwyn, how did things go with Oscar last night? I hope everything was okay. Like Lucas, there isn't an answer from Selwyn right away, so I get up to continue my morning routine of finding some clothes to wear and making sure I was fresh. I almost considered taking another shower despite taking one last night, just to unwind and try to distress. Too bad everything happened after my shower. Maybe I should just take another one anyway. When my thoughts are interrupted by my phone ringing again, I'm glad I had a long rest. Even if my dreams weren't entirely pleasant, or else I'd probably have an awful headache right now. It's a reply from Selwyn. All's good, I think, anyway. We were quiet all night, but he didn't look upset when we went to sleep. I think he misses you. Really? He didn't look too comfortable around me when we left. He's going through some stuff, but I think he wishes he could be around you, but I'm just guessing. We didn't talk about it. I think he just wanted to take his mind off things. Is he awake? Yeah, he's just taking a shower right now. We've only been up for a bit, but we got some exercise and some breakfast. Does he seem better? He's quieter than usual, but it's not too bad. He's smiling and joking around, but sometimes when he thinks I'm not watching, he's staring off into the distance. I considered asking him what he was thinking about, but I thought it would be best if you talked to him first. It's more likable to talk to you about it. I guess I was the reason this mess happened. I guess it was the reason this mess happened, wasn't I? I don't think it was your fault. I don't think he blames you. If anything, I think you made things better in the end. You think? You sorted things out, right? He looks pretty happy with things. He was just tired. A drop of water drips onto my screen, and I realized that I've started to cry. I quickly wipe my face and take a deep breath, trying my hardest to keep my composure. Thank you. I've been worried I messed things up. You shouldn't worry so much. Austin cares about you a lot. Even if it's confusing for him, he wouldn't abandon you if he tried. I wouldn't let him. Not anyone. Selwyn. I don't know what I'd do without you. What we would do. You're both great guys. You just need a little help sometimes. I know I need it too. I'm just lucky to have a lot of friends. I haven't said it enough, but I really wanted to thank you for yesterday. If it wasn't for you, I don't know how everything would have turned out. I'm confident you would have figured it out. I believe in you. I'm not so sure about that, but it's nice to hear him say that. It's reassuring having someone like Selwyn on my side. I really should try to hang out with him more. Even though they're very different, he reminds me a lot of Oscar. No wonder the two of them gravitate to each other like that. Lucas wanted to get everyone together. I think we really worried him last night. I never seen him get everyone together. That's really nice of him. I always knew he cared a lot more than he let on. Cute guys like him always try to hide it. Yeah, you two really hit it off. Lucas was pretty prickly when I first met him. He looked a little nervous. I get that way a lot too. I know how he feels. I don't think he's had many friends. Before now, he's never invited any of us out, but he's also hasn't said no whenever we ask him to join us. But that's just a guess. I probably shouldn't have said that. No, I get you. I bet he'll be happy knowing you think about him so much, but I get the hint. I'll try my hardest to be his friend. I think you've always been doing a good job with that, but thank you. He reminds me a lot of one of my friends. I'll be fine. I already pulled him out of his cell, so Lucas shouldn't be much trouble either. Despite crying just minutes ago, I can't stop the massive grin from covering my face. I feel like a teenage girl talking with one of her friends. I wonder if this is what Lily meant when she said girl talk earlier. Wait, I'm getting off track. I think we got a little distracted. Like I mentioned, he wants everyone to get together, but he wasn't sure about messaging Oscar. Do you think he'll be okay to ask? Like I said, he's doing a lot better. If you weren't looking for it, you'd think he was the same as usual. That's good, right? It's pretty good to me. I'm just lucky he's doing okay. I'll be honest, I was really worried when you told me he did that. He's never done anything like that before, never. But that's not entirely a bad thing either. It isn't? Yeah, it also means he cares about you a lot. I don't really know what's wrong, and it isn't my place to pry, but it sounds like you're good for him. You think so? From what I've seen, I'd say so. I met you too. You're quite a catch. Oscar's lucky. He's lucky. That guy could get anyone. I'm not sure about that. I love him, but he's difficult to get close to sometimes. But he just slipped right through his defenses. I think you two will be just fine if you try. Your friends will help you as well. Oh, me too as well. Anyway, he's out of the shower. You should give him a call. I'm going to go act casual on the couch so he doesn't suspect anything. Will him knowing be a bad I, will him knowing be a bad thing? No, but it'll make things easier, probably. Just don't be weird about it. It's still Oscar. You're still you, right? I think making it weird would be exactly what Oscar's scared of. You're right again. I'll give him a call. Good luck, and I'm nothing special. I bet all your friends would have given you the same advice. We all care for the both of you. We're friends after all, right? I think you might be the most optimistic person I've ever met. He's coming out. I'll be listening in. Wait, what? But he never replied to that, and I'm left just staring at my contacts, and I'm left with the realization that Oscar is right above Selwyn. How fitting for the two of them together, even my phone. Well, he's right. Here goes nothing. I click Oscar's number and let it ring. It rang. It rang. Is he going to pick up? Did Selwyn and I completely misread this entire did Sarah and I completely misread this whole thing? I'm about to end the call when a recognizable beep of someone answering rings out in my ear, and I'm left stunned, speechless. Hey man, sorry for taking so long. I couldn't find my phone. I left it in the bathroom. Totally been out of it, you know? I try to form words, but nothing comes out. It's like cotton is completely filling my mouth. What did I even say after everything that happened last night? There's so much going on between us. Hell, we might even be dating now. Wait, you said we're going really slow and not even at that level. How do people even date? This is so stressful. Oh, Sarah, doing exactly what Sarah told me not to do. I'm overthinking this. Just treat Oscar how I usually do. He's just the same fun guy who's always trying to make me smile. Nothing has to change. Hey Oscar, sorry about that. How are you doing after everything? Well, we're getting right into that. Better than trying to make things weird, right? Yeah, you're right, man. No need to make this a whole thing. You sure you're okay with talking about it? Yeah, man, I'm okay. A part of me doesn't entirely believe him, but I can't just call him out on that. We're making good progress as it is. Did everything go alright after you left? I know things were better. I'm just making sure. Don't worry about me, man. I'm doing good now. It was just a thing, you know? You'll talk to me if anything happens, right? Sure. You promise? I promise. Alright, I believe you. I wanted to let you know that Lucas wanted to get everything together. Do you want to join? I hear a loud chuckle coming through, and just from the phone of it, I can tell that Oscar's beaming. Wait, Grumpy wants to get together with us? That's great. Hell yeah, I'll come. Just let me know when and where. I think he's still sorting that out. I don't think he's done this before. Maybe you should ask him if he could invite that roommate of his. He sounds pretty well. I'll bring it up with him. You know, he was pretty worried about you last night. Yeah, I know, my phone was really blown up. Papa Bear ended up calling me and touring me out about it. I could see him doing that. Lily almost too, but once she heard Papa Bear did as well, she gave me a break. You don't sound too unhappy about it. Yeah, I'm used to getting yelled at. Coach does it all the time. If I'm being real, it was kind of nice. I'll tell you they cared. Yeah, you did. You're right. Thank you. I mean it. Did you want to talk more about where we stand? Alongside comes through the phone. I'm not sure. Can we talk about this in person? I'm not sure I want to do this over the phone. That's fine. Do you want to meet up somewhere? I'll talk to someone to figure something out. You let Grumpy know that I'll come along too, and if someone should come as well. I can do that. Just let me know. Hey man, before you go, huh? Thanks man, you're really great. Also, I'm not gonna let you talk down to yourself. You're pretty great, man. No arguments, okay? Okay. Thanks. Anytime. Now, enough of the awkwardness, please. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Sorry, I wanted to keep things how they used to be. I know I appreciate it, man. I really do. We'll sort things out. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. I'm excited for it, even if we're just taking things slow. College is a time for fun, right? Right. Both of us give a burst of awkward laughter, but there's something about it that feels more fun than before. It isn't like a suffocating weight, but more like feeling nervous about trying something new. Despite the fact that we both knew we had to go soon, we still spent the next few minutes rambling back and forth before we finally put the call down. Lucas said he'll prepare something, but didn't give me much information on what he's planning, so I can do is wait. So I decided to finally complete my morning routine. But it isn't long before I'm fully dressed and just laying on top of my blankets again, thinking about everything that's happened this week, excluding all the things with Oscar. I had expected my dream to fade away by now, but I can still remember most of it in total clarity. Something about it just makes me feel like there's more there, but I can't say what. My eyes wander around my room until I notice something in the corner of my eye. Sitting on the nightstand next to my bed is a diary. I don't even remember what put it there. I must have put it there after everything happened. A lot happened last night, and most of it is a blur. Crawling across my bed, I pick up the book and nearly flick through before I stop myself, considering I just had a nightmare last night, and everything that happened, curiosity is a good reason to risk my mental health. I consider tossing it into one of my cells just to hide it from sight, but something in the back of my head is telling me not to. After all, we might need it for our meeting today. With a sigh, I fall back onto my bed, holding the diary against my chest, wishing everything wasn't so complicated. Time ticks by with nothing from Oscar or Lucas. I nearly messaged them numerous times, but I didn't want to come across as needy, especially with how delicate things are. Lucas is doing something that seems out of his comfort zone, and I really don't want to pressure him, and everything with Oscar is so new. I don't want to seem needy. My time is spent staring at my phone while I spread a diary between my fingers, just waiting for anything. It isn't long before I get my wish, but it isn't what I've been expecting. Instead of a message or a call, there's a knocking at my door, instead giving me a fright and causing me to drop my diary next to my head. Coming, I tripped trying to rush off my bed, nearly crashing onto the floor if I wasn't able to frame the empty bed frame next to me. But I don't waste time and run over to open the door. Yes, who Maybe I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was expecting to see the other airline waiting for me with a big smile on their face. Oh, hey guys. Howdy. Thought we might drop by. Seven follows him up with a beaming smile and a small wave that I can barely sheepishly return. I thought we were going to go somewhere. I'll be honest, man. I couldn't really think of anywhere to go. I would have taken you to the bar, but it sounds like we are just going there already. So I just thought we could chill or maybe walk around, you know? Just kind of wanted to talk and be here. Well, I mean, I'm okay with that. Just okay with that, huh? Guess I'm messing things up already. What? No, you're doing great. Whoa, hey, I'm just messing with you. Sorry, guess things are still a little tense. Sorry, that's my bad. I just wanted to make sure you're doing okay. Don't worry, man. You don't have to try so hard. I don't want some things to be different. I like how things were before. Of course, I understand. I'm just excited, okay? Nah, man, don't be sorry. I'm the one who should be apologizing after last night. I made a real mess of things. Nathan would kick my ass if he found out. Probably for the best he didn't know about it. When I was looking around, I actually saw him at the bar, but I didn't ask him if he saw you, just in case. He didn't have to do that. I'll probably tell him anyway. Someone needs to kick me in the butt. Are you sure? Yeah, seems like the right thing to do. Not sure why. Finally, sensing a gap in our frantic fumbling, Seven takes the opportunity to insert himself between us with a large smile. I almost considered telling them about what I might have saw through the window, but I don't even know how to put it into words. A bluish glow? That doesn't sound very helpful. Maybe it's best to not overcomplicate things. Suddenly, water flooded the hallway, and I woke up before it got to me. It was creepy. Sounds like you're having a nightmare about what happened before. I told you, man, it was just some kind of messed up hallucination where you were having. You really think that? It was just some random coincidence? I mean, I've seen the guys hit some stuff there. It can be pretty intense. I haven't tried any, I swear. I wouldn't go near the stuff. I ain't that hardcore. You really serious that? Yeah, maybe Grumpy was right and it's some kind of mass hysteria or something. I just don't think it's that important. It's just a dream after all. Also reaches an arm around me before hesitating once more, but instead of pulling away, he ends up just placing a hand on my back. It's a significantly toned down display of affection, but it's still comforting. Just don't stress about it, man. It ain't that serious. Just a bad dream. Even the one you just had. Just sounds like you're stressing yourself out. To show his own level of support, Seven reaches over and places a hand on my knee. Despite not being too in the loop, he's still going out of his way to show his support. It's hard to not smile. If you're certain this, I'm still not too sure, but I'll try not to stress about it. That's all we can ask for, man. Come on, let's get out of here. It's real stuffy in here. Seven and also bounced off the bed with such vigor I'm nearly thrown off in the process. Thankfully, both of them catch me, though. We nearly knock over Seven in the process, but it had all of us laughing. After we're all firmly planted on the ground, Arthur and Selwyn started chatting while they head to the door, but I hesitated before following them. I looked back at the nightstand where the diary had ended up again. I considered leaving it behind and just doing what Arthur said, to just forget about it for now. Except something is nagging in the back of my head that we might need it. Despite myself, I still decided to take it with me. Oscar raises an eyebrow when he sees it, but I just give him a sheepish smile, hoping he doesn't call me out on it. But he just shrugs and opens the door for all of us. We ended up walking the campus walking to the campus early. We still had 30 minutes before we had to meet with everyone, but we decided to just walk around and talk. There wasn't anything specific being mentioned. It's mostly just relaxing conversation. I got to learn a bit more about Selwyn, which was great. He mentioned how all his friends in high school came here as well, which is amazing. I didn't really have friends in high school, so to see someone coming to college with their friends sounds awesome. I couldn't help but feel a little jealous. They're all pretty cool, trust me. Well, the one I met was anyway, but I assume the rest of them are anyway. Someone's a good just account. Wait, that reminds me, actually, Selwyn. I met someone who knows you, I think. He was confused but makes no motion to whisper in Austin's ear and pull out his phone, so I take that as my cue to carry on. When Austin and I met Nathan for the first time, some of the rest of the team were there too. A weasel came and talked to us. He said he knew you. A wave of recognition flows over his face, but it doesn't say the uncertainty from his face. In fact, he looks more nervous than he did before. Hey man, you okay? You look a little shaky there. But Severin just nods and reaches into his pocket, except he doesn't pull anything out. He just stares at me instead. What's the matter? He just walks up to me without giving a hint of what he's doing. It's not until he comes around to my side and leans up to my ear that I realize what he's doing. He's trying to whisper in my ear, just like he does with Oscar, who also looks to have realized what's going on. Both of us wait with bated breath to see what happens, but all I can hear is light breathing in my ear. Someone pulls away for a moment, but he looks frustrated. Without giving us even a second to process anything, he's right back up against my ear. But there still isn't any sound, except I do hear something. It's little croaks and mutters, nothing comprehensible. After a few more seconds of this, he pulls away, but he just looks defeated now. He quickly tries to cover it up with a smile, but it's obvious that he's frustrated. Hey man, don't swear about it. Yeah, it's okay. There's no worries. I already heard you once on the phone, and that was amazing. Well, really? I've never seen you warm up to someone that quick. That's crazy, man. Huh? Is that true? Someone nods, and it looks like that cheered him up, or at least he looks better than he did a second ago, but I don't know if he's just putting on a show for us. With also doing everything in his power to hide any negativity, I've gotten a lot more paranoid about people hiding how they're feeling. What were you going to say about the weasel? He smacks his forehead before pulling out his phone, trying to play it off cool, though the giggles that sneak out on me isn't helping. It was probably Wolf. We went to high school together, but he's a couple years older than me. I don't know if I call us friends, but we're friendly. His face scrunches up, and I watch him type out a few messages before erasing them. For what I've seen, he's usually so quick and efficient, but he's clearly trying to figure out how to word what he wants to say. After a few more attempts, he finally sends it, though from his crest brows, it doesn't look like he's particularly confident in it. Wilf is a little weird. He's not really a bad guy, but he likes to tease people and knows how to get under their skin. He's a lot smarter than he looks. So he was just messing with me the last time? Probably. It's a little hard to be sure, but I don't think he'd do anything too bad. He was on the football team that Conrad was on. He was teasing Nathan a lot. He scolded me for hanging around Oscar and said he knew my type, and while he mentioned, I reminded him of someone and to ask you about it. He's probably talking about Baxter. He's one of my friends I mentioned earlier. You reminded me a lot of him. It's part of why I feel so comfortable around you. You told me it was because he was really cute. This is just a bonus. Baxter's pretty cute in the same way. Maybe you'll get to meet him one day. He's the one I met, and I can see the similarities. Too bad none of your Too bad none of your other friends want to see me. They're just private. You probably saw one of them on the football field. There's a huge rat named Wes. He hangs out there too, but don't go looking for him. He's a little grumpy right now. Sounds like someone we know. Sounds like you have a lot of friends. He positively beams at that and decides to whisper into Oscar's ear, this time instead of typing it. I guess he must be too excited. He said that he loves making friends where he can. It's just a little hard sometimes. He's being a little unfair though. He might be a little uncomfortable at first, but he's got a silver tongue, I tell you. Well, I'm glad that we're friends. Oh, I'm not able to finish my sentence before Seven nearly tackles me to the ground in a hut, but that isn't what surprises me the most. What does catch me off guard is Arthur, who wraps an arm around the two of us. I look up at him, and concernedly just keeps smiling like he always does. Are you okay? It's not too bad like this. Whereas between the three of us, it just feels like a friendly moment. That makes sense. Just don't push yourself. I won't. You're starting to sound like my coach. That reminds me, I totally forgot in all the commotion that he needed to talk to me, and if I had to guess, it's probably about Oscar. I should probably go meet up with him as soon as I can. It doesn't take too long before the hug is dispersed, but I still feel like all the oxygen was stuffed out of my lungs. Seven's strong enough as it is, but Oscar's on a whole different level. Hey, does your coach hang around campus on Sundays? Now, the only times we ever see him on Sundays if we have an event. It's too close to the start of the new year for those. Do you want to go swimming? We could definitely sneak in without getting caught this time. Maybe later. I'm not sure if I want to go swimming that soon already. Plus, we have to meet everyone soon, right? Why, I totally forgot about that. We should probably head over there soon. You coming, man? We both look out over at Seven, who's flipping through his phone, likely trying to check something, but he ends up shaking his head with a disappointed frown. And all that luck, one of your friends have a bad day? Several just nods before shoving his phone into his pocket, surprising me with another quick hug before he runs away, leaving me stunned with a smile on his face. Well, man, if I didn't know any better, I had thought you never had a guy hug you before. Well, before you two, I really didn't. I didn't really. The only people that ever hugged me were my parents, and they weren't around too much. Even my brother wasn't too physically affectionate. Sorry, man, I didn't mean to bring him up. It's okay, honestly, it hasn't been hurting as bad as it used to be. Honestly, with our talk last night, it felt better to talk about it. I waited for any reply, but it doesn't look like he's going to carry on from that comment, so I decided it's better to move on rather than make things awkward. Without Sarah there, things might get awkward between us again. I can already see him putting a little more distance between us, even if it's just a small step back. He really is scared to touch me, but I have to keep reminding myself it's because he cares a lot. He has feelings for me somehow. You're looking a little lost there. Sorry, just got a little lost in thought. Yeah, me too. So you want to head over to the bar? The others should be there soon, if they ain't already. They probably the type to show up early. At least I'm not late this time. Ah, but you look really cute, all fragile like that. You think? Yeah, I mean it too. I'm not just being flirty, you know. You're a real handsome guy. Thanks, but you're starting to sound like my mom. Sound like she's got two tastes. Sounds like she got taste too, I guess. We should probably go, right? Yeah, come on. I know a shortcut. Things didn't stay awkward for long. We were barely a minute into walking before Arthur got right back to talking. He still kept his distance from me, but it didn't feel as noticeable with both of us laughing. Before we knew it, we'd arrived at the campus bar, though it's significantly less packed than it was before. That doesn't mean it's entirely empty, though. There's still a few tables filled with people eating food. There's so many people here. I didn't think people would be at this bar this early. Something about what I said causes Austin to burst into a fit of laughter, and I can't help but feel like I may have fooled myself. Now, unless you wanted to get trashed this early, this place isn't just a bar, it's also a restaurant too. It isn't just bar food. I didn't know a bar could also be a restaurant. Did your parents never take you to one? My parents used to us used to take us to one all the time. It was a lot of fun, you know. My parents wouldn't take us out too often. They were too busy with work for it. But the times we did go out, we just went to a normal restaurant. Ooh, that's fancy. Not really. We barely ever went out. It was mostly my brother or me making dinner. My parents were rarely home, after all, so when we did go out, they wanted to make it something special. Well, I guess we gotta make this special too, huh? He gives me a little bump with his shoulder. It's not like his usual bouts of affection, but I'll take what I can get. It still brings a smile to my face. Come on, let's see who's here. Maybe we're the first ones to arrive. Wouldn't that be sick? Except, of course, we aren't. Sitting in one of the booths is Lucas, who looks to be reading a book by himself. There's no sign of anyone else we know at the bar either. And part of me kind of hope that we see Nathan or one of his friends floating around the bar somewhere. I have even I would have even been excited to see Wilf just so I could ask him some questions. There's something about him that intrigues me. But there isn't. The others just haven't arrived yet. Though I guess that makes sense. We're still 20 minutes early, but I had expected to see someone floating around. Come on, little dude. You look like you're about to walk into a chair. Also gives me a little sub forward with his tail, just like he did the day we met, and I'm forced to bring my attention back to reality. We cross the road to the booths. It's a lot easier than it was the other night. Without all the people in the way, it's a whole different experience. I think I'd like to come back here sometime or some more. Something about the place seems friendly. No wonder Nathan and Oscar like it here so much. Luke's ears perk up before we were able to get remotely close, and he looks over to us with a curious tilt to his head. I didn't expect to see you two so soon. I was certain Lily would show up first. Maybe since she didn't organize it for once, she felt like she didn't have to be here so early. Maybe. Well, we're still here before the party. Can't say I'm used to that. Usually things are already loud, and I'm just arriving to give it a boost. Lucas looks over Oscar like he's inspecting a piece of jewelry for any damage, but he must be satisfied with what he finds because his attention returns back to the book he's reading. What are you reading? Just some fantasy book. You wouldn't know it. I know he doesn't mean anything bad by it, but it doesn't mean it doesn't sting just a little bit. But it's best if I don't bring that up with him. It'll only make him feel bad. You look like you're doing good today, Austin, I think. Anyway, I'm not the best at telling. Don't stress about it, Grubby. I'm doing more than okay. In fact, today's been a great day. He gives the two of us one of his gigantic smiles, but it doesn't hit as hard as it used to. After a full day of receiving them, only for things to end up like they did last night, it's hard to trust a simple smile. Do you know when the others will arrive? Lily said her dad was dropping her off on campus soon and haven't heard from Lee since last night. You didn't check up on him? No. Why would I? He'll get back to me if he needs to. Both Austin and I meet eyes before shrugging and letting it slide. We walk to sit in the booth, and I go to take the empty space across from Lucas, but I'm stopped by a hand on my hips. Hey man, do you think you could sit next to Lucas? I think being pressed up against you is the best idea. Oh yeah, you're probably right, sorry. Don't be sad, dude. This is my fault. Is this about last night? Yeah, can you do me a favor, Lucas? Sure. Can you keep some of the details about last night private? I don't remember exactly what I told you, but it's a bit personal between us. Fine, it wasn't anything important for me to tell them anyway, other than I know Sid went down and you needed some help. It's nothing special. Thanks for helping, Wallace. You're a really cool guy. It's really nothing serious. Still thanks, man. Amen for Lucas here. Sure. If you need anything, you can just ask me. Or someone else. I'm sure they help. Lily's better at this than I am. Now I think you're doing a pretty great job. Maybe I will give you a call, Lily. Seems like she's got a lot on her plate already. You will? Why? Why not? We're friends, aren't we? I like to think we are. I'm not used to having many friends, and frankly, you're very cool, but I do enjoy your company sometimes. Thanks, Lucas. Yeah, whatever. Just sit down already. People started to stare. Sorry. Don't worry, they're probably just staring at me. I had a bad habit of catching people's attention. I mean, see when do you see guys this big? I don't care, just sit down. Even though I know I should sense this at Lucas's dismay, I still can't stop and chuckle from slipping out in the way Austin's grin widens and his eyes light up is more than telling of what he's feeling. Things went smoothly for the next 10 minutes, mostly with Austin trying to talk to both of us while Lucas bites back, but there's a friendlier vibe between them than there's been before. I think what happened with Austin last night really softened Lucas up to Oscar, though maybe my terror that I had last night might have influenced him too. Sometimes the two of them get a little out of hand, and I'm forced to step in, but it never gets anywhere bad. As it continues until a pair of familiar faces walk through the door, as Lily and Lee come over to us, though it's more Lily dragging Lee in excitement. Jesus, you don't have to whip my arm off. You can see they're fine. Come on, it's not that bad. Plus we got here faster, didn't we? Sounds like everything went down in the end. Fine. Lily lets go of his arm, which he separately tries to rub, though he doesn't do a particularly great job of hiding it. Just how strong is he? Sounds like you two had a fun time. Did you two come over together? Yep, Lily's place is on the way from my house, so I decided to drop by. The sister's a lot of fun. If I knew you two were going to get that bad around each other, I wouldn't have let you meet her. Surely they couldn't have been that bad, right? What's the worst thing they could do? Lee didn't answer that one, but the exhausted sigh he gives us is more than enough of a sign that things were in fact that bad. But Lily didn't waste any time sliding into the seat next to Oscar and grabbing his face like he's some kind of research subject. All of us looked up, but none of us make any move to stop her. Well, what's going on? I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the attention, but you're pretty close there. Oh, you're doing okay. You warned us after death when we heard about it. I'm fine. We didn't need to. Ow. Hey, stop. Why are you hitting me, dude? I might be on muscle, but that still stings. Why didn't you answer my calls or any of our calls? Do you know how scary it is to have someone run out like you did and then have them ignore your calls? I But he doesn't finish that sentence. Not that I blame him. Just hearing those words from Lily is enough to bow the bubble in my throat, and I have to close my eyes to block everything out. I didn't even think about what could have happened if I didn't find Asa. Whether he did do something to himself. How could I have not thought of that? How did I not? After last time, how could I just, hey man, you okay? It isn't Asa's words that put me out of it, but the feeling of his webbed hands surrounding my own. That familiar warmth feeling, that familiar warmth feels soothing, and I can't stop myself from trying to grip back. I see him tense, and I worry he's going to pull away, but he doesn't. He even manages to give a smile, though I can still see the tension cover his body. And if all the eyes weren't on me, I bet everyone else would see it too, except they are all staring at me. Lucas in particular looks very distressed. He's got his hands around my arm and his tail is wrapped around my waist. It's clear he's trying to comfort me as well. Lily and Lee look just as confused and worried. Both of them look like they were ready to try to shake me out of it as well if the other two didn't beat them to it. You alright, kid? I'm fine, it's nothing. Just thinking about something else. Don't worry about it. That didn't look like it convinced anyone, but no one wants to call me out on it. The closest I get is also squeezing my hand tightly, as if trying to pump as much reassurance as he could between our fingers. Really, I'm fine. Last night was just a lot. It got me thinking about things. Things like what? It's a clear attempt to lighten the mood. Lily gestures over to Asa and my hands, which are still very publicly entangled together. The realization merely makes me yank my hand away from, but Asa holds it on tight. After a moment, he lets go and retreats back to the side of the table, and I immediately regret trying to pull away. I'm already missing the warmth that radiates from every part of him. Wallace, you're quiet. I am? I lift my fingers to my eyes to feel the fur around it, and he's right. It's totally damp. Crap, I'm sorry. It's okay. I know whenever I cry, my mom will wrap my tail around me until I feel better. I hope it helped. And there, Lucas, thank you. He lingers for just a bit longer, but before pulling away, even though I couldn't even tell his tail was wrapped around me, I immediately feel absence. That doesn't stop Lily from leaning over the table, nearly knocking over the salt and pepper shakers in the middle. Lee is nowhere near as office, but it's still very clear that he's looking over to make sure I'm actually alright. I worry they're going to probe about it, but Lily just gives a sigh and falls back onto her seat, though she doesn't look particularly pleased with either me or Austin. I really wish the two of you would have called us yesterday. I didn't like finding out about things with Lucas later. It really was scary. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to piss you guys off. I just needed some space. It wasn't that serious, but we both know it was that serious, and I should have done more than just let him walk away. No, thinking like that is a good idea. It'll only take me to dark places. Places I don't need to be anymore. I have bigger things to worry about, like whatever's going on with Asa, and I guess what's going on between the two of us. I don't think it's best to bring up with everyone yet. Hell, I don't even know where we truly stand. We're taking things slow, but we're not dating. It's complicated. Where I've been lost in my thoughts, there's been a long silence suffocating the air around us until Lily breaks it with a sigh. I'm not here to yell at you guys or give you a lecture. We're just worried, okay? Please don't scare us like that again. Say scary calls for when we know each other for more than a week, okay? Yes, ma'am. That's Miss Ma'am to you. Yes, Miss Ma'am. The two of us burst into laughter that's loud enough to bring the attention of some of the nearby customers, but they quickly go back to their own meals without any fuss. Lee just rolls his eyes before coming to sit next to Lee and I. It's a little cramped, but it was going to be either way with how things turn out. There's at least enough space where we're not pushed up against each other, and I'm glad that Lucas and I are so small. I don't know if I would have minded being pressed up against Arthur again, though it will only be if he's comfortable with it. I don't need a repeat of last night already. Okay, it sounds like we need a little bit of a distraction before we really get into things. How about we get some lunch? I'm curious how the food is here. If we're going to be here for the next 4 years, might as well see if this place is any good. Might be a good meeting spot in the future. It would make things easier. As long as I don't have to walk across town, I'll be happy. I hate to go into town. I don't think that was ever an option. We all live near campus, don't we? Yeah, I live a little bit away, but my dad can always drive me if we're too far away. Besides, you sound like, besides, you should let us show you around town more, Grumpy. I bet there's some places like, I bet there's some places you like somewhere. No, I like the places I go to. I don't need anywhere else. But where's to find that? And the glare that Lucas gives is enough to make us back off. Alright, just think about it, okay? Wallace will come along too, right? Huh? Oh yeah, of course. I'd love to show you around town. I don't really know too much places around town, but I still lived here my whole life. Don't worry, I got the other places covered, but there's a few of them I want to show you first. He gives me one of his winks, and that just makes me even more curious about the places he means. Plus, having his flirt again after all this time is enough to bring the heat back to my face. Okay, enough of that. You two should look at what you want to eat. And no, Oscar, don't say what you're thinking. I wasn't going to say anything. Oh, sorry then. He tries to play her off as he leans back, his arms thrown across the top of the boot, but the slight bits of pink peeking through his fur and his cheeks is enough of a giveaway, but everyone keeps it to themselves. Except for a little chuckling between Lily and Oscar. After everything that happened on Thursday, I completely forgot how much I enjoyed having lunch with everyone. The food was pretty good, much better than I expected from a bar, but Oscar reassured me that this is pretty common for a bar restaurant. Me and Oscar have to deal with some probing questions from Lily and Lee, though they try to make it seem like they weren't trying to fish for information. They weren't subtle about it. But sure enough, we finished the food, even some dessert. When Lucas saw some on the menu, Oscar started to tease him about it, but I think it flew right over his head. It didn't take long for Lily to start asking questions again, though it seemed she's finally taking the hint to take a bit of break about it. So I heard the two of you went to see college football team, right? Me and Oscar looked at each other, trying to see which one of us wants to tell the story. I don't know how much Oscar wants me to tell since a lot of personal stuff got aired out, but he just gives me a nod to go ahead. We got there, but most of the team weren't too close to him. We only found one guy who was close to him. It seems like he was a bit of an outsider, but he managed to talk to him, right? Yeah, it was a little walk at first, but we managed to get him to talk to us. His name's Nathan. He's a pretty nice guy. Real sweet on Wallace too. Oscar, what does that mean? Don't worry about it. It ain't important. I can't help but squint at Oscar, but he just keeps flashing me that sinister smile, though. When the giggles coming from Lily and the sight from Lee, they understood him fine enough. At least Lucas looks confused. That's something, I suppose. Why was it walking at first? I knew him already. We had a bit of history, you know? What did you do? It's fine, we talked it out. We're cool now. Lee doesn't say anything, but it's clear he wants to interrogate him further, but he's containing himself for now. He doesn't sound upset, just disappointed, and I get the feeling he has a pretty good idea as to what happened somehow. Did you guys learn anything new about Helena? Not really, she only visited a few times, mostly just to chill on Conrad. She didn't talk to the team much. I don't even think Nathan ever talked to her. I can't remember for sure, though. That's disappointing. Why would she talk to the others? She was just there for him. That makes sense. Still, you have expected her to meet some of the team at a party or something, or Conrad would have said some stuff about her. Actually, that's one of the strange things we heard from Nathan. Apparently, despite being close friends with Conrad, he never heard about Helena being his girlfriend until he showed up. At all? Well, Conrad mentioned her, but never as a girlfriend. Nathan just thought they were friends. Sounds like he's just private. There's nothing weird about that. I guess still seems kind of strange though. It wasn't just that. Apparently, Conrad never went to any parties or even went out with his teammates to bars. It doesn't sound like he was a social guy. Why did he go out of his way to befriend this guy then? Nathan said he didn't really fit in with the guys because he was gay. Some of the guys could be pretty rude about it. Conrad was the first guy to. Sounds like a good guy. It doesn't sound like the rest of the team is very nice. What do you expect? You get a bunch of meatheads together and they're going to be assholes. No one is soft. Do I count as one of those meatheads? No, sorry. You're much better than those guys. Oh, really? Thanks, man. I always knew I'd grow on you. He tries to reach over to Lucas, but I don't think he expects to get anywhere close, except he does. His hand lands on Lucas's shoulder, and it stays there for a couple seconds before also gives it a squeeze and pulls away. Everyone looks surprised except Lucas, who's trying his best to avoid eye contact with all of us. You okay, man? I'm fine. We can just carry on. Can we just carry on? Of course, dude. Where were we at, anyway? Something about Conrad hiding his girlfriend, right? I think we were just finished with that, actually, so Nathan didn't really know anything. I wouldn't exactly say that. He didn't know a lot about Helena, but we learned quite a bit about Conrad and Quinn. That's her roommate, right? I'm a little lost on some of these names. Yeah, apparently she'd been friends with Conrad before he met Helena. She was the one who got them together. Nathan did meet her. But he wasn't friends with her as well. No, they weren't that close. They still had separate friends. They were close in the field and hung out, but they weren't like besties, you know? Did he have any insight as to what happened? Well, he just said that the motive wasn't true. Conrad wasn't the kind of guy who would meet someone. He barely talked to girls as it was. He only dated Helena because Quinn set him up with her. What do you mean? The guy was getting harassed by the team for not getting any chicks, so he hooked him up with Helena to get them off his back. Nathan thinks cheating doesn't make sense, especially not with Quinn and Mercy. He saw Quinn like a sister, and he didn't get along well with Mercy. Why didn't they get along? Nathan wasn't sure. I remember Helena mentioning this in the diary too. Mercy never seemed to have liked Conrad, but neither of them knew why. She just didn't. Maybe she was jealous that someone was stealing her friend's time. Or maybe she knew Conrad wasn't into her. That caught everyone's attention. Lucas tail that I had completely forgotten was still in my lap, nearly flipped up and hit me in the face. What do you mean? It's probably nothing, but I've had a few thoughts. Maybe maybe he just wasn't that into her, was using her to get the guards off his back. Seemed reasonable, right? But Helena wrote that he was a gentleman. He was always engaged and treated her really nice. Well, you ain't gonna be mean to the girl who you need to be your girlfriend, right? Still, listen, it's just an idea. It might not be true, but you think it is? I think it's a possibility. There's a few more options, which are I'm still thinking those ones out. I think I'll keep them to myself for now. Why do I get the feeling you're hiding something? I'll tell you guys when I'm sure. Don't want to make any bad assumptions, you know? Why don't we just read a diary? Wouldn't that tell, wouldn't that tell us? Maybe Helena doesn't think there's anything strange about that, but she might learn more about it later. Did you bring a light? Did you bring a diary? Yeah, it's right here. I pulled out the diary I've had sitting on my lap. I'd almost forgotten about it entirely after Lucas placed his tail there earlier. I think you should be reading that. It's been seriously messing you up lately. I kinda agree with him. The whole thing is just a bummer. We don't really need to know, right? Also, isn't reading my eyes, but I can tell he's thinking about my nightmare from last night. Lily and Lucas are watching me carefully, but don't interject, waiting for my reply. I stare down at the diary and consider if it's best to just put things down. But Nathan sounded so upset about how little he knew about what happened to Conrad. And I can't believe that this is just as simple as Selena going crazy. Nathan was certain that Conrad didn't cheat on her, which means her motive was likely not true. Why would she kill him then? It just doesn't make sense. Wallace? So I was just thinking about it. Let's not worry about it. There's no need for us to argue like this. No, I want to read it. I think there might be something useful in there. Maybe we can learn about Conrad. If you if you're sure, I kinda agree with Lee. It doesn't look like he it doesn't look like it's been doing the best for you. Maybe one of us should take it and read it instead. If they're already this worried about it, it's probably best I don't bring it up. Probably best I don't bring up the nightmare, at least not yet. They probably reject me outright if I mention it now. I'll be fine. I'm the one who wants to look into it, after all. It wouldn't be right to make one of you read it. I still don't like this, but if you're sure, I don't want you reading it alone anymore, okay? Get Austin to come over or go up to Lucas's room. I'm on board with that. We could make it a sleepover and everything. You have to spare a bed for it. That would be great. I'll come down too, if you need me to. I can read it with you or do some studying or something. Even if I might be there. If it makes Wallace feel any better, then obviously. Why would I let your presence determine that? Oh, I like your company too, Grumpy. Whatever. It sounds like we have some ideas with Conrad. He kept Helena a secret and doesn't seem to be that close to the football team. Even the one he was close to didn't even know he was dating Helena, but Nathan, that's his name, right? He mentioned he was sure that Conrad wouldn't mess around with other girls. He sounds like a good guy for a meathead. So I get him, for the most part. What I don't understand is Quinn. What do you mean? I don't really get what she gets out of it. Are they just childhood friends and she's helping him out? Nathan said she Nathan said he met her. Apparently she's really pretty and visits the team a lot. She was closer to them than Conrad was. I bet those boys found it all over her. God, I'm jealous. Now you don't want guys like that chasing after her. They're not worth it. Oh, you one of those guys? What? Nah, I'm way better than them. I wouldn't hit on a girl. The bar is truly low. Anyway, maybe we should try to talk to Nathan and figure out what we can find. Do you know if the football team meets up on Sundays? No dice. None of the sports teams have practice scheduled for Sundays. Coach said it was something to do with school policy. The only time we come in was if we had a competition. And I'm guessing there aren't any of those. Not this early. All the sports teams have to do tryouts after all. Can't let all the first meet go to waste. Sign-ups end next week, so no games will be scheduled for a while. Guess we'll have to meet up with him tomorrow then, unless you want to call him. I could. I stare back at Oscar, who looks to be trying his best to seem as relaxed as possible, but there's little signs I never would have noticed before, like his eyes darting to meet my eyes or his smile forcibly widening whenever he thinks we're looking. He must be nervous about meeting Nathan again. He did say he was going to tell him about our little incident. I still don't know if that's necessary, but it sounds like it's something he feels like he needs to do. I don't have the right to stop him, but I think I want today to be a relaxing day. Last night was a lot. Shifting it back to this topic is a risk, but I know it's better than leaving it where it was. But the moment I wake up last night, I can see Lily's eyes brighten. You still didn't tell us what happened between you two. Nothing happened. That's nothing. That's not entirely false. We didn't end up doing anything. Even if I feel like I've both made massive strides with Oscar and simultaneously completely fell back to the starting line. But it doesn't look like anyone's buying it. Fine, you guys are so boring. I'll just have to probe you later. That looks to be the end of that, and as if to make it all seem final, Lee pushes himself out of the booth, taking a moment to stretch before turning to us. Is that all you guys wanted to do? I have to get home soon to talk to my sister. Is everything alright? It didn't sound like things were the best when I called you. It didn't even take a second for her to realize she let something slip that she shouldn't have, and the rest of it tried to act like we didn't hear anything. Well, Oscar and I do. Lucas just watches intently. Lily tries to mouth an apology, but that only makes it worse as Lee groans into his hands. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I just had a fight with my sister last night. Family stuff. You sure? Positive, kid. Don't worry over me. I'm fine. If you're sure, I'm sure. To emphasize the statement, he waffles up my hair fur with his claws, turning the whole thing into a mess. I have to back his hands away, but that just makes everyone laugh, even Lucas is smiling. Is that everything? I really should be getting home. One last thing. Yes? Now that Wallace and Asa found out some juicy info about Conrad and Quinn, but did you guys find anything out in your investigation? Our attention shifts between Lee and Lucas, all curious if the two of them had discovered anything that could possibly answer some of the strange questions we had. But after a few moments of silence, it's pretty clear that neither of them had anything to add, much to our shared disappointment. Seeing everyone deflate is enough to steer Lee into finally speaking, even if it didn't end up giving us any useful information. I found out that Mercy used to help out at the shelter for homeless kids, but I decided I shouldn't go. I didn't want to bother them. We'll all wait for him to elaborate, but once it's clear he isn't, our focus switches over to Lucas, who similarly just gives a non-committal answer. I didn't find anything else. I thought I did, but I didn't go through with it. Was it worth it? That's okay, thanks for looking. I had to chime in. Everyone started to look so down. Even also looked unsure how to approach the situation, but it looks like it was as Lee shrugs it off, going back to his usual cool composure. Lucas still looks a little unsure, so I sit me a little closer to him to try and give him a bit of reassurance. He usually responds well for stuff like this, even if I'm not quite sure why. The change is almost instant. It's small but more than noticeable, as he seems to noticeably relax, though he doesn't lean back into me like I expected. He just looks like he's enjoying the presence. With that out of the way, I'll head off. Let me know if you guys need me again. I'll come running if it's important. Come riding back on a white horse to sweep Wallace off his feet, huh? I think I'd leave that to you. So, sounds like you have a reservation. Huh? Hey, what does that mean? But Lee doesn't give him an answer. He just walks away with a flick of his tail. I can't see it, but I just know he's got a smile on his face, and I get the feeling that Oscar knows it too. Ron watches him until he disappears out the door, though everyone is more amused by how flabbergasted Oscar is. Damn, Papa Bear got fangs today. I didn't think he had it in him. What do you mean? He's always been a little harsh on you. I don't think that was very harsh. Sounds like he was giving someone a bit of a tease. You know, it would be easier to dissuade any rumors if you guys just told us more details about last night. You've been very secretive. What's wrong with that? Don't they deserve a little bit of privacy? I suppose I'm just teasing after a while. Honestly, I'm more worried about last night than knowing the details. Are you sure that both of you are okay? Her shifting tone is sudden, and her piercing gaze as she seals her eyes between Arthur and I feels like it's digging through my brain. We're okay, at least I think we're alright. I'm feeling much better. It was just a whole thing, you know? With a long sigh, she finally gives in and flops back in her seat, though she's unsatisfied. She wouldn't push us if we're uncomfortable. Alright, I won't push any further. Let's wrap things up, shall we? Let's start to wrap up. Let's go over everything we learned. We know that Conrad was being secretive with Helena for some reason, and that Quinn seems to have set them up with an ulterior motive. I still think he wasn't that into Helena. All dudes are men, and the football teams would have killed to show off a chick like her. That doesn't make sense. If he was just dating her for his reputation, why would he hide her? That's not logical. Wait, Lucas has a pretty good point there. And the whole idea of getting with Helena was to get the guys off his back. Why hide her? Would he want the whole team to know? Nathan mentioned he didn't even find out from Conrad that he was dating her, and he was Conrad's closest friend on the team. He had to find out because he showed up one day. Maybe that means he wasn't just using her. What if he did like her? Couldn't he have just been shy about it? It didn't sound like he dated anyone before. I can understand wanting to keep it quiet first. My eyes meet Austin's, but he breaks contact instantly and looks down at the table. It's subtle and no one else catches it, but I can't help but feel a little bad. I didn't mean to make him feel guilty. I'll have to apologize to him later. Our situation is a whole lot more complicated than just being shy. Sorry, man, I just don't think that's the case. Why not? Sounds reasonable to me. Jocks can be assholes. Why bother letting them get to you? Just a hunch. I just don't think he was that into her. Well, we won't figure anything else out by talking about it. We'll have to look into it further. Maybe have Wallace read the diary some more. I might do a little research myself. Research? Of course, can't let you guys do all the investigating. And honestly, Quinn confuses me a little more than Conrad does. She seems pretty cut and dry to me. Still, it doesn't hurt to be thorough, right? Yeah, honestly, I think the more we can get, the better. I immediately regret adding that part to the end. I didn't mean for it to come across as it did, but it's clear I've just made Lily worry again. But she doesn't comment on it as she slips out of the booth with a massive smile on her face. Stephen sneaks me a little wink before turning her attention back to everyone. I really got to thank her for being so patient with me. I'm going to go start my own little sleuthing in the library. Do you want to join Lucas? I know how much you like it in there. She adds a teasing with inflection at the end that causes Austin to snort, but it looks like it goes over Lucas's head as he seems to take it completely straight. Oh, well, I suppose. I didn't have any plans today, and going to the library wouldn't be too bad. I usually work on assignments on Sundays, and this is close enough to that. What? All of us look like we're trying to hold in a lot of laughter, some of us better than others. Really looks like she's about to burst into a giggling fit while Austin just looks like his usual self. I like to think I'm playing it cool, but I can feel the twitching in my mouth and my ears instantly flare up when Lucas cocks his head after looking my way. Guess I'm not as slick as I thought. Now that I think everyone's just happy that you invited us all today. You've never done that before. I was pretty surprised. That's usually my job. I think you guys are giving him a bit of a hard time. Looks like we just worried Guapi here a little too much. That's not bad. You guys were upset. It was just the right thing to do. I know, man. I ain't giving you a hard time. Just saying I appreciate it. Something about what Austin just said plunges Lucas into a deep thought. Well long enough that the rest of us all look at each other, but Austin and Lily just give a shrug. Excuse me, Lily. What's the matter? I wanted to talk to Wallace and Austin alone. Could you leave and I'll meet you at the library later. That's okay. Of course. That's okay. I'm not going to be some overprotective mom. Well, not all the time. Don't stare at me like that. Lee's way worse. Okay, fine. I'll go. Just be safe, okay? She immediately notices what she just said, and we're all laughing, even Lucas. It's a nice moment, and no matter how little we solved with the Helena case, it made this whole day worth it. Maybe I see your point. Damn, I thought I was being smooth. You're not exactly Celto. Oh, does that mean I'm no longer the least Celto here? Does it mean I'm no longer the least Celto one? Have I gone up and wank? Maybe I'll still go with her. I'm just messing with you, man. Sorry, I just wanted to have some fun. It's fine, I've gotten used to your weirdness. This is adorable, but I gotta stay true to my word. I'll catch you guys later and keep you updated. I'll find some good stuff, I promise. She slides out of the booth and skips away, though not before turning around and giving us an over-dramatic wave for someone we're likely going to hear from later tonight. Then she's out the door and we're down to just three. She's really something, ain't she? She definitely has things sorted out. Makes me a little jealous, if I'm being honest. I think you're doing a good job compared to most people I know. Oh, thanks. I think you're doing pretty great too. Not really, but I know you're just trying to be nice. I wasn't. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I was just meaning that I appreciate it, but I still have things to figure out, that's all. Nothing wrong with that, right? I don't think many of us have all crap out together. We haven't made it, at least. I can't say that for us. I'm just going with the flow and doing what I think would make me happy. You guys should try that more. Though I think I'm starting to get Wallace to come around. He smiled at me, but it's different from the one he usually says. It's more emotionally charged, and I can feel my face flushing as I break eye contact, though his answering chuckle only makes it burn harder. Lucas looks between us before sinking back into his head. He doesn't last long in there, though, as only a couple seconds pass before he addresses the two of us. Where did the two of you go anyway? You never told anyone. Austin and I share a look, though he seems to be willing to let me decide how we're going to approach this as he nods his head for me to speak. We went to the beach. Things were a little strange. Well, are they better now? They're improving. I think we have a long way to go. I think it's a lot better than last night. Can't get much worse than that. Is there anything I can do to help? He stares at the fox in silence as he fidgets with his fingers, not looking at either of us as if he's ashamed of what he's asking, just a little sigh. What? Nah, man. We're doing good now. Trust me, you ain't in Israel anymore. You certain? Positive. Are you two dating now? We both wince, and Lucas's ears press against his hair as soon as he notices, though Oscar quickly tries to reassure me that there's nothing wrong, but he doesn't look fine. So I'm not very good at this. I should have asked Lily to do this instead. I don't know about that. I think you're doing a great job. Yeah, you're doing fine, man. If you're sure, I am. You might not be so sure, but you really helped me last night. I don't even know if I would have had the courage to go hunting if I didn't run into you. That shocks him so much that he doesn't even give a reply. He just stares at me like I just whispered to him the secrets of the universe. Lucas, also using his usual name. That shocks him so much that he doesn't even give a reply. He just stares at me like I just whispered to him the secrets of the universe. Lucas, Oscar using his actual name, is enough to jolt him out of it, though it just changes his shock from one of us to the other. You know, I thought that you hated me. Not that I didn't deserve it. I'm a loud guy, and you don't like that. But Wallace told me how you waited to see if I'd come back in. It felt good. It might shock us considering who I am, but I don't have a lot of close friends. Really? Mr. talks to everyone and probably sleeps with every guy who shows interest in him? Not that that's a bad thing. Nah, you're right for that, man. I'm a bit of a bicycle. A bicycle? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just wanted to say that I appreciate you and hope we can be friends. But Lucas just looks more confused at what Oscar said now that the metaphor he used before even tilted his head as he moves the words over. But, weren't we friends already? That sucks Oscar right out, though he looks more happy than shocked. He snaps out of it quickly and tries to play it off with a laugh, but it's clear that Lucas's words hit more than he's let it on. Yeah, of course we were. Don't worry about it, man. I'm just being weird. Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure you guys were okay. I thought it might be easier to talk to me than the others. Why is that? It's not always easy to talk to those you're close to. I know sometimes I don't want to tell my parents things because I don't want to make them sad. Right, I get that. Wait, I should leave now. Lily will likely be wondering why I am, and the quicker we get that done, the quicker I can get home. I hear Lucas shuffling next to me, but I ignore it as I ponder what Lucas has said. Sometimes it's harder to talk to those you're close to. And Conrad was hiding things from Nathan then. Wait, that might help. I nearly jump out of my chair as an idea forms in my head. It isn't a complete one. And I'm not even sure it will lead anywhere, but it might be worth looking into. What might help? Looks like you have a plan, huh? Well, let's hear it, little dude. I wouldn't call it a plan exactly. I think Lucas might be onto something. What do you mean? I didn't say anything of interest, did I? I was thinking about how people are more likely to hide certain things from people they're close to. Conrad was probably doing the same with Nathan. That's not exactly what I was meaning. But if it helps, I get it. You're saying that maybe he talked to someone else about this, right? Yeah, though I'm not really sure who. Probably someone on the football team. They were close, but they weren't exactly friends, you know? Sounds like a recipe for what we're looking for. Who will you even talk to? Yeah, there's a few options. It might be best to talk to the team captain. If you were gonna talk to anyone, probably be someone like him, right? Maybe, but something tells me it probably isn't him. After all, the main reason you the main reason you probably wouldn't tell people you're close to is so they don't have to worry. We barely talked to him, but the captain seemed like a good guy who cares a lot. He sounded really upset when we brought up Conrad. I don't think he would have wanted him to worry either. Where do you, where do you want to start then? You look like you have an idea. Why are you holding back? I'm not sure if that's I'm not sure if it's the best idea. Do it. It's not worth it if you're worried about it. This might. If you're worried about it, this might. It's not that. I'm just a little nervous. Austin's eyebrows stood up with such speed I thought they were about to go flying off of his head. I can almost see the bulb lighting up in his head. Oh, I get you. That might work. From what I've heard from Sarah, that guy just knows things, though I heard he can be pretty tight-lipped too, so we might not get much. Do you think it's a bad idea? I didn't say that. In fact, I think it's a pretty good one. Just don't get your hopes too high, okay? It'll be it'll be best that way. Our discussions interrupted by Lucas clearing his throat loudly, enough that it catches the attention of a nearby group of people, though Lucas shows no signs of noticing. Can I go now, or do you want me to come with you? I don't think that's a good idea, Grumpy. I don't think you like this guy. Why is that? How do I put this? He's like me, but if you enjoy poking around your head. That does sound unpleasant. I'm going to the library. The last thing I need is being attacked by a bunch of meatheads. That's a little extreme. We're at school after all. If you think you're safe because it's in school, you're very naive. Regardless, we might see each other later tonight. Have a good day, you two. Lucas nearly stumbles as he climbs out, but also is able to reach over and steady him. With her final thanks, he disappears in the same direction as Lily, and we're left to mull over our options. What do you think Seven has? Do you think Seven has his number? If he doesn't, one of his friends will. Just hit him up. I'm sure he will find him. Well, here goes nothing. Thankfully, Seven did have our number and put us in direct contact with our target, but that didn't stop the nervousness that's creeping in my chest. He agreed to meet us near where the football team practiced since he was apparently doing some exercise at the gym nearby. It brought up something that I had completely forgotten about before now. Austin and I discussed why Conrad didn't use the gym on East Campus and opted for the one on the Central Campus, but he didn't know any concrete reasons. Maybe we could bring it up. We ended up waiting there for 10 minutes before we saw him walking over to us, though it's a shock that we didn't catch him earlier with how much he stands out. Griff approaches our table without acknowledging us at all until he's standing right next to us. Even then, he's just staring down at me with an amused expression like he's waiting for something. The eerie feeling I felt when I first met him is tingling at the back of my head again, but I try my hardest to ignore it and give as welcoming of a smile as I can. Hi, thanks for coming to meet us. I know this is pretty short notice, but we just wanted to ask you a few things. It's hardly a problem. I was already on campus after all. Why would I refuse such a request from someone so well-mannered? I see you brought company too. Austin's wearing his usual smile that works surprisingly well as a poker face. I don't really know what's going on in his head, but he looks much more entertained by wealth than I do. There's something intimidating about him. Did I forget to mention that Austin will be joining us? Sorry, I didn't mean to. You're a lot jumpier than you were before. I guess you talked to Selwyn. And not slowly, not before knowing what to expect from the other weasel. We were completely different in every way. I had no idea what's going on in his mind. But he just gives a devious grin that makes me shiver, though I'm not sure if it's because I'm scared or because he's insanely attractive. Probably a bit of both. God, I'm not going to attack you. Why do you look terrified of me? I'm not that bad most of the time. I think he finds you hot and that's making him nervous. Asa, oh, I figured that out already. Well, that's hardly surprising. Don't worry, Wallace. You're not going to be beyond prey. It seems like you've got your hands full with this one already. Wilf gestures to Asa with a curious glance to his eye as he leans across the table. The accent causes his already loose tank top to nearly slide off his shoulders. Though things seem a little different than before, big guy over here was a lot more touchy with you. Now you're sitting far apart. Did he dump you? What do you mean? Are you trying to keep it quiet? Or, I see, the two of you are even that far yet. I suppose that's not too surprising. If I'm being honest, I didn't expect you to make it this far, but I knew I saw something in you. I knew you had something about you. I guess I can stay to talk. He climbs into the bench. There's an Asa while I sit on the opposite side of the both of them. He ends up being pressed up against Asa's arm, but doesn't acknowledge it at all. In fact, his focus nearly leaves me at all. Asa doesn't look offended by this at all. In fact, he tries to offer the weasel a handshake, but Wilf just stares down at it like he's confused as to what Asa's trying to pull. Eventually, he sighs and takes his hand, much to Otto's delight. He looks very proud of himself, though Wilf doesn't look as annoyed as he sounds. I can see why Severin took a liking to you. You're so similar that it hurts. I'm going to take that as a compliment. You should. He's doing well for himself. Better than most of the people I meet. Better than the two of you, if I had to guess. What makes you say that? I told you not to go for a guy like him. Will leans his chin into his palm while tossing his thumb in Austin's direction, much to his confusion. But guys like you always find a way, I suppose. I'm not very surprised. You're cute too. You really are the whole package, aren't you? He's pretty great, isn't he? A bit more feisty than what I'm used to. Not that that's a bad thing. Guys, we should probably stop. I can carry him home, but I don't think he'd be happy with me if he passed out. Where's the fun in stopping now? The grin he flashes towards me reminds me of a predator about to pounce in his prey, and is enough to remind me of Severin's cautious words regarding wealth. Except before I can get truly uncomfortable, it fades away into something less primal, though it never loses its conniving edge. But he didn't call me out here for this, regardless of how fun it is. So, what do you want? And just like that, all the playful teasing leaves his tone, and that smile is replaced by a blank stare as he watches me closely. The his entire demeanor causes Arthur to straighten his back, and his eyes lock on with mine as well. Despite his usual default smile being on his face, there's a warning written all over his face. Tread carefully. Now more than ever, I wish we had Severin here to help navigate us through this conversation. I feel like he'd help us figure out what is just him messing with us or something to be actually worried about. I wanted to ask you about Conrad and if you knew anything about the Helena situation. I expected some reaction to hearing about them, but he just continues his blank stare as if the names weren't of any interest to him. I almost consider just calling this whole thing a failure, but he shrugs. I wasn't close with him. He was on the team, but that's it. We weren't close and we barely talked. And you happened to hang out with all his friends? Seems a little strange, don't you think? I didn't know Nathan either. It was only after Ryan rolled all of us together that we ended up in the same friend group, though I still wouldn't call us friends. You wouldn't catch Nathan dead spending time with me alone. Does he not like you? He's more scared of me. The grin that spreads across his face doesn't reach his eyes, but will still hold that neutral intensity that keeps me questioning just what he's thinking about, but it's farewell all the same. Even also looks more confused than I've ever seen him. I didn't really think about it much, but Austin's a really perceptive guy, so he's probably not used to having someone as unreadable as Will. Not that I blame him. There's a lot of rumors that spread around the team. It's hard to keep a secret around here. I guess in Conrad had a few that spread around too. That makes the grin evaporate and breaks that veil of apathy as he lets out a sigh, suddenly looking much more perturbed than he did prior. You shouldn't put too much stock into rumors. They have a habit of rarely being true. But they are sometimes true, right? And I have the feeling you already know what you're asking for. This time it's Oscar's turn to shrug, and I feel like I'm being left out of a secret conversation they're having. Will's attention has been stolen away from me entirely. He doesn't look pleased by this. I don't really know anything for certain, just a few hunches, you know. There looks to be enough to either satisfy or from the groan he makes annoy him into submission as he returns his focus back to me, tuning out Oscar from the looks of it. Is he always like that? Actually, he's being more reserved than normal. I never understand what people see in guys like that, but maybe you have your reasons. I have a feeling you wouldn't admit them anyway. Well, I know you weren't close, but what did you know about Conrad? Same as what you've heard already. He barely talked to anyone that wasn't Nathan and never went anywhere with us. We barely knew anything about him. But that does beg the question, why are you asking me things? Nathan would know much more than me, and I already know you two made up. So why the interrogation? Unless something someone said intrigued you, that's a little dangerous of you. I knew you had bad taste, but I didn't realize it was this bad. Look over to Oscar, hoping to see him intervene, but he looks just as curious as Wolf did, as if he didn't already know why we were here. It's not like that. We were just checking to see if anyone else heard things. Don't buy it. You would have talked to Carter if you just wanted another perspective. Conrad might not have been friends with anyone else on the team, but Carter's persistent. The two of them were friendly enough. I get the feeling you know that already. So let's cut this little charade. It's growing boring. I like games, but make them interesting at least. Or add some stakes. We're not doing that. Why not? Worry things might not go your way. I'm always down for fun. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not that dumb. You're trying to bait someone that's trusting his Wallace and to make a deal that doesn't benefit him. This is where I feign innocence about how this totally benefited him, but we both know that that's not going to work, so I'll save us the effort. A final huff, Wolf leans his elbow on the table once again and causes his shirt to hang down, revealing Moses' excessively toned body. I only look for a moment, but it's enough to make his eyes light up again, and danger alarms blare in my head. Wolf might be very attractive, but everything about him screams bad idea. Not that I had any intention of going there anyway, as much as we are going slow and unlabeled. Also, still the one with all my interest now. Something on my face must have clued Wolf into this, as well because he rolls his eyes, losing interest once more. God, get on with it. What do you need? Just tell me and I'll give you a straight answer. I only have so much time to waste if you're not going to entertain me. I wanted to know if maybe Conrad said something to you that he might not have felt comfortable telling Nathan. Maybe he confided something in you. I have to ask again, why would he ask me? I'm not often called very approachable. He flashes his sharp white fangs again, and I can feel the air getting chillier. I didn't know weasels could have fangs that sharp. Mine are nowhere near as intense as his. I actually think you might be the best candidate. Actually, you're not totally close to him like Nathan. You're not someone close enough that it might cause issues like Carter. But you were close enough to be pulled into Nathan's friend group anyway, so maybe he saw you as someone close enough he could confide in, but not too close if that makes sense. If I'm being honest, I'm kind of guessing at this point. By your own logic, Ryan would be more likely. After all, after all, he'd be just as close as, after all, he'd be just as close and much nicer than me. I think you're nice, just a little scary. I mean, you came to help us out when Nathan was angry at Oscar. I was asked to help. It was hardly for your sake. Plus, someone need to smack Nathan back to earth sometimes. God knows the others are too nice to do it. Well, still, you did help calm him down. I don't think we could have done it without you. He grumbles as he runs a paw through the fur on his head, ruining the slick comb aesthetic. He doesn't look upset, more uncomfortable. You really are just like him, aren't you? Fine, I'll talk. Really? Don't get your hopes up. I'm not giving away. Don't get your hopes up. I'm not giving away any details. Just that, yeah, I did talk to Conrad sometimes. Was it about a secret he was keeping from Nathan? He lets out a dark chuckle that returns that predatory smile, his short fangs sliding out once more. You can say that, though. It would be more accurate to say that he was hiding it from everyone. Everyone? Well, maybe not everyone. I doubt his little friend was in the dark. She seemed to be more active around here than he was. Funny that, isn't it? But what was he hiding? Kelly wouldn't be any fun, now would it? So, you're not going to tell us? I think you can figure it out. I bet your other friend here has a few ideas. After all, he has his hunches. But also doesn't raise to his bait, only replying with a simple shrug and flashes his own grin that only leaves Will looking bored once again. There's a part of me that's curious to see how he'd react with Lucas, but a significantly larger part of me is screaming how that's an awful idea, and I still keep the two of them as far from each other as possible. Anyway, I'm done for the day. He doesn't wait for us to say anything. As he settles himself off his seat, he starts walking away, and that should be the end of it, but he stops next to me and leans down to whisper into my ear. Whatever you did to that one is fascinating. He's different from before. Maybe one day I'll be the one asking questions and poking around in that little hair of yours. Huh? But for now, I've lost interest. Feel free to meet me again. Maybe you have figured it out by then. But keep the bodyguard at home next time. He's getting in my way. He whispers that so close to my ear that I can feel his breath through my fur, and it's enough to make me shiver and lean away. Much to his amusement, the rumbling of his chuckle is deep enough to make my eardrums tingle. Your way. But he doesn't answer. He just struts away as if we didn't exist. From the massive grin I could barely make out. He looks awfully proud of himself. Also doesn't look too concerned with him. If anything, he's more interested in how I'm doing. I managed to maintain my composure for most of that encounter, but the end of it left me a little more frazzled than before. You okay, man? You're a bit shaken up. I'm okay. Just felt like we didn't learn anything important. I'm not so sure about that. I think we learned a lot, actually. What do you mean? We know that Conrad was keeping secrets from Nathan. We'll even talk to someone like Wilf that tells us that it's something he's ashamed of. So he was worried it might get out. So he told someone he thought wouldn't tell anyone. Why tell anyone at all? It's more likely that Will figured it out and confronted him. Why would he confront him? Who knows, maybe he was trying to blackmail him. We can't be certain yet, but there's no need to sweat it. Don't worry about it, little dude. Just be happy we got something at all. It could have been a total dead end, you know? Yeah, you're right. Thanks. No sweat, man. Do you want to go head over to the library? Maybe we could find the others. Maybe we could just relax for the rest of the day. I'm kind of exhausted. Careful saying that around here. I bet if Wilf heard you, he offered to give you some training. What? He's got some interest in you, man. I know you see it. But I'm guessing you're not interested. That seems like a bad idea. Oh yeah, that probably wouldn't go well. I bet someone would kick my butt if I let that happen. Plus to have someone someone else to focus on right now? Right, yeah, I guess you do. Was that too far? Nah, man, it's okay. It's just weird. So I'll try to tone it down. Don't do that. I think it's really cute when you do that. I just need to get over this myself. Just be patient with me, okay? Of course. That's what I wanted to hear. Now let's get out of here. If I stay around here 2 months, I'm gonna be tempted by the pool, and Coach will probably get pissed. Now that he mentions it, I didn't really notice, but he hasn't been going to the pool as much as he had been at the start of the week. He was always talking about it before. I guess things have just been too busy for him. That's probably it. But I can't help but feel like it's something more than that. It's probably not important. I should just try to relax for a day that was supposed to be a recovery from last night. This ended up getting a lot more eventful than we planned. The rest of the day was relatively tame, but I couldn't have asked for more. I've had more excitement in this last week than I've had for the entirety of my high school life, especially after last night. After our encounter with Will, things were a little awkward for a bit. I think having someone directly call him out had an effect on Arthur. It was minor, but I noticed he started to keep his distance again. He didn't seem upset, nor did he try to avoid me, but it felt like bringing attention to what's going on between us just brought it back to the forefront of his mind. There's been a lot more thinking today than either of us expected. But the rest of the day was spent in relative peace, and it turned to night before either of us knew it. I'm just lucky Arthur knew the area around my apartment building well enough to suggest food. Now it's night, and I'm waiting for Arthur to finish his sour. Everything feels like an eerie repeat of yesterday. I think Arthur's noticed as well. He was quieter than usual when he left for the sour. He's been gone for a long time. He could just be taking his time, but I just know it's because he's nervous too. I've been lying in bed, unable to focus on doing any work on my laptop, so I've surrendered myself to just spinning Helena's diary between my hands, thinking about everything we learned. There's so much we don't know and could learn just from reading this, but everyone's pretty firm about me taking a break. Even Arthur wasn't a fan of it. But how much could it turn? It's just a diary after all, right? I didn't believe myself, not after all these dreams and finding that page in there, but it's hard to know what to believe. My completely derailed train of thought is rescued by the arrival of Arthur, who, despite everything that happened last night, still has no shame about coming him with no syrup on. It's nice to know not everything's changed. You okay, man? You look like you've about to pop a brain cell. Yeah, just thinking about today. Don't stress about it, man. We can just deal with it tomorrow. Still, there's just so much we don't know. Hey. Also stuffs a diary out of my hand and places it on the bedside. He sits down on the bed next to me. His large weight causes the bed to sink, and my body to slide down against him. The moment our bodies touch, I can feel his body go stiff against me, but he doesn't move away after a few seconds he returns back to normal. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust myself so I can move away, but it's hard without making more contact with Arthur, though he quickly puts a stop to my flailing. Hey man, it's okay. You don't have to move away. I'm fine. Are you sure? I really don't mind. It's fine. You don't gotta worry about me. I mean, look at me. Do I look like the kind of guy who let a guy touch him get him down? I know his bravado is trying to put me at ease, but it's only making me more worried about him. He's just trying to ignore everything he's feeling again. Sorry, this isn't what I'm used to. I've never had to do anything like this before. I don't know what I need to do. There's nothing we need to do. We'll just take our time and figure stuff out. Take it slow. That's a little easier said than done. I have no idea where we even start, and I'm pretty sure I'm the one with all the experience. No offense. Well, I had no idea. Well, I have one idea. Oh, do tell. You just leave me in suspense. Well, I thought that maybe you could sleep with me tonight. I don't know, man. Last time I didn't go particularly well. I don't think we should try that again just yet. But if you want to try it, I don't mind. You're the boss. No, I wasn't meaning sex. I was meaning just sleeping. We've done that a few times, and I thought that might be a good place to start. I'm sorry that's a silly idea. I shouldn't have suggested it. Nah, man, slow down. I think it's a pretty good idea. I'm a little jealous I didn't think of it myself. You think it's a good idea? I think it's better than anything I've come up with. Not that I'm surprised, you're a pretty smart guy. I don't think I'm. Nope, not letting you do that. That's my number one rule. Huh? I'm down to trying to. I'm down to try sleeping with you, but you gotta follow my single rule. No selling yourself short. You're always doing it, man. I think you're one of the most amazing guys I've ever met, and I've only known you a week, but you're always trying to sell yourself short. No more of that, okay? I'm just left in shock. No one's ever talked about me this way before. So my parents always tell me they love me, but it's hard to believe anything they say. They're my parents, of course. They say nice things about me. Anyone's would. But here's Arthur with his massive grin, his complete lack of cert or shame, just telling me this straight out. It's certainly enough to make my chest tighten. Plus, it helps me with something else. What's that? Those nightmares you've been having? If I can't stop them from happening out here, I might as well take them down from the inside. So you're sleeping next to me to try and fight off my bad dreams? Sounds pretty great, right? Like your own personal dreamy bodyguard, literally. Yeah, that sounds nice. Well, should we turn in? It's getting late and tomorrow's Monday. I bet a month's worth of pool time that we both have classes. Wait, what time is it? You were really out of it, huh? It's nearly 11. It is? I pull out my phone, ignoring the numerous messages from Lily that's flooding my screen and focus on the time. He's right. There's only 20 minutes until 11. Also went to take his shower a little while after 9. How did we get here already? How long was your shower? Oh wow, I just needed some time to think. Don't worry, it was a cold shower. I didn't want to get you in trouble if I used up all the hot water. That's not the problem. You had a cold shower? Are you freezing? We're in the middle of autumn. You know, fall is never that cold here. I'm fine, man. Really. I'm always running hot. A little cold does me some good. I spend most of my time swimming, little dude. A little cold ain't gonna hurt me. Now, are you staying indoors or are you going to get undressed? You don't mind if I sleep in my underwear? Wouldn't it be too close to? How about we try it first? There's no polar bear here to scold us, so don't stress. Yeah, just let me get up. The moment I'm off of the bed and pulling my clothes off, Arthur takes my place and starts arranging himself in awkward positions. He's probably trying to find poses that will have us touching the least. I don't know how successful that's going to be. The beds here are pretty small and Arthur's gigantic. This bed would barely fit him as it is. Let's just hope this works. It took a bit of messing around before we were both able to get into the bed together, but we were finally able to get in, though that doesn't mean there isn't any issues. Just as I thought, the bed is much too small for Arthur to fit in, and despite our best efforts to keep our contact to a minimum, our hands, preferably, if it just wasn't happening. My back is still pressed up against his stomach, and I can feel his chest on the back of my neck, even if I tilt my head forward. I'm sorry, I'll just take the guest bed. Don't worry about it. I try to pull myself out of the bed, but Austin's large paw presses it down. But Austin's large paw presses against my chest, keeping me in place, though he quickly pulls it away. No, it's fine. We can stay like this. It's not too bad. Despite that, I can still feel the tension in his body and the deep breaths he's taking. It's nowhere near as bad as I thought it could have been, especially considering last night, but it's still there. Austin, hey, it's fine. Trust me. I've handled doing 50 laps in a pool before. I can handle this. The laugh he lets out is genuine, and it's so refreshing to hear. I hadn't realized just how much less he'd been laughing since last night. It's a wonderful sound, and one that immediately puts a smile on my face, making me feel a whole lot more relaxed about this whole setup. Though that in turn brings all the fatigue I hadn't realized I've been building all day. It was an emotionally taxing day, to be sure. If you're sure, but if you feel uncomfortable, just wake me up and we'll sort it out. I told you, I'm okay with taking it as slow as you need. Hey Wallace, yeah? You're really amazing, you know that? You've been telling me that an awful lot lately. Despite all this crap going on, the main thing you're worried about is if I'm okay with sleeping in the same bed as you. Of course, I would be. I really care about you. Sorry, I know we're not boyfriends. I didn't mean to push it. Nah, man, it's good. I'm not ready for something that intense, but this is nice. I could get used to this. I could feel my face heating up, and I wish I could see Austin's face, but as I look up, I can only see darkness, only blips of light or small dots on the few electronics scattered throughout the room. But something tells me that he's just as flustered as I am. This isn't making you uncomfortable. It's not too bad now. Everything was racing at first, but now it ain't too bad. As long as I don't think about it too much, I think I'll be fine. Despite him saying that, he's still avoiding any further contact than what's necessary. His arms are being kept away from me as much as possible, and the only contact between us is my back to his front. But even so, the small connection and the warmth it brings is more than enough for me, and I can already feel myself being to I already feel myself being to fade away. I also keeps muttering something, but it's getting harder to make out, and all I can think about is just as much I've already come to miss all his little touches. Moments like this that makes my heart race make everything worth it in the end. And I fall asleep without even a single thought towards everything we learned today, and the mysterious diary next to me, all my thoughts consumed by this wonderful otter behind me. Thank you for playing the latest build of Memoir. This build has new content for Lucas, so if you're excited to see more for him, then head over there and check it out. Next update will be a Leo update, so look forward to that. Though if you are simply an Oscar fan, I recommend giving the others a try, but also don't fret. He'll be getting another update after Lee. If you have anything you want to report, please let me know on our post or our Discord's feedback room. As usual, don't forget to follow our Twitter for updates and announcements. We have a Discord for Violent Memoir. Find a link to it in our page on Twitter, Itch.io, or click right here. Thank you for playing, your patience and your support. Alright, so we finally completed what's available for Oscars now. I probably would have completed this a lot sooner if I just haven't been in the mood. If I was in the mood, I just haven't really been in the mood for continuing with VNs. Not saying that I won't stop, but I'll still make videos. But it seems like in the past month or two, I just haven't been all that much in the mood. Otherwise, I would have completed this months. Well, otherwise I would have completed this route for Oscar weeks ago. And plus the Hurricane Helene, so that kind of throw me off even further. But anyway, so if you watched this at the very beginning, you probably would not have. Well, I'm saying, if you saw Oscar at the very beginning and his flirtatious and horny attitude, you never would have thought that he would be the type of guy who wants to take things slow. But that was because we didn't know him back then, and he didn't show his vulnerabilities right away. But as we continued through Oscar's route, we gradually saw that optimistic and flirtatious behavior crack. We saw some cracks in it, and by the time he just couldn't do it anymore, you could say that it kind of like collapsed. The whole thing just collapsed, and you're completely exposed now. So he lost his brother, and ever since then, he just hasn't been all that close to people. Like, he doesn't want to be all that close to people because if something bad were to happen, it would hurt a whole lot. Which explains why he doesn't really have that many friends. And again, at the very beginning, considering, his behavior and, being friendly and flirty, plus, him being where you could say a jock, big muscular physique, you probably figured that he would have a lot of friends. And maybe if he wasn't like that, he would have had a lot of friends. I think he would have had a lot of friends, and people would be attracted to him if he wasn't so just so introverted, or just just put people off, just close himself off to people. So ultimately, we don't really see much of him with that flirty self anymore. I mean, we see a little bits of it towards the end, but he decided that he wants to take things slow, and that's the best method for the two of them to continue, both him and Wallace. Take things slow, gradually, take it one day at a time, and see what happens afterwards. So they're not boyfriends, but I think they're more than friends now. It's kind of like that little blur between being friends and being boyfriends. I mean, you're not really boyfriends, but you've ended up being more than just friends. Like, you know what I'm talking about, that in between, the blur. So, like I said, I just haven't been into doing vegans, doing visual novels the past couple months. Otherwise, I would have finished this up weeks ago. I would have been on to a different VN by now. But anyway, I finally finished it. Awesome swoop. Now, for the other two routes, Lee and Lucas. I'm not going to cover those right now. Maybe late in the year or early next year I'll start those two routes, but I just wanted to do Austin's route for now. So so there won't be any more Violet Memoir for a while, really. Now, if Austin gets a new update soon, then I'll record it. I'll do the Austin updates and have them out, but for the other characters, not right now. Okay, so thank you all very much for watching. Bye.